Good morning, everyone. The topic we are going to discuss today is Desiderata. There is a seventh poem that you are going to have in your book, that is Desiderata, and it is written by Max Ehrmann. First, you have to remember this particular author was born in the Victorian period during 1872, but the period of his working, the time he wrote all these things, that is basically the early 20th century. Now, what should we read this poetry? First thing you have to remember, this is the best poem that the poet has ever written, and he is acknowledged and known for this particular poem. Secondarily, what you have to remember, this poem talks about the very basic needs, problem, functionality of human life. What composes the human life, or what the human life is composed of. So all these detailings are provided here. But more than detailing, it is feeling, emotion, and sentiment. Each feeling, each sentiment, and each side of human existence is mentioned here. Our existence is not only physical, it is emotional and sentimental. We must not be thinking at any point of time that we are the one who are suffering. We should have the sense that everyone is in trouble in this world. And I, you, or anyone is not any exception. Anyone, everyone, and all the people are suffering. So we have our troubles, we have our specialty, we have our happiness. So this is the basic theory, basic concept, or the pillar that constitutes the entire poetry. Designed one. Very simple in form, but a magnificent one. When we go through hardship, we should have this poem as a resource to rejoice our life, to understand the beauty of life. There is no life without problem. And often what we do, we focus on the fact that others are having and leading a better life than I. And that causes all the problems. So this poem tells us to do what? This poem tells us to focus on our own motives, our own individuality. Number one. Number two, it allows us to do what? It allows us to accept the fact that the world is still powerful enough to produce happiness for me. So we should deep into our inner self, jump into our inner self, and understand the values that we have, the beauty that we have inside us. And that can make our life a beautiful one. Further, we read a poem before that is written. The poem written by Rudyard Kipling. There is a poem that is called Eve, that also mentioned the beauties of life, the problems, and and the solutions. This poem caters the need of each human being. And here, what we can do with the poetry, we can take this poetry as a guidance when we are in trouble. This term, particular term, the term Desiderata, we can tell Desi, Derata, or Desiderata. Both are correct. This is not actually English term. This is a Latin term. This is a Latin term. As you can see in your book, it is mentioned clearly. Okay, and it means what? The desire. As it is mentioned in the poem, if you look at the introductory part that we have, just before the poem starts, you will find it is written the meaning as it is written here. As you can see, desiderata means the desire of a human being. So the desire that we have for a peaceful life, that should not get diverted at any cost. Number one. Number two, we should not think about what others are doing, what others are feeling, and what others are enjoying. and should not judge our activities all the time. Instead, we should think the life is same with me and others also. We all have our own troubles and we have our own facilities. So that's all for this fairy poem. This is the introductory part, and this poem will be thoroughly uploaded with text, annotation, paraphrasing, and whatever the possible methods that we have. What I want, make proper note of this one and have proper notice of this video is going to be uploaded. Okay, so here ends today's topic. Thank you.